Hi there, welcome back. So last day we did this skinning, and this is the first version of the skinning. We will continue working to improve the skinning, adding new elements, and of course updating the skin with the new elements. But for the moment, it's the first version. So the next thing that we want to do now is to create the environment and the custom steps to reveal this character up to this point. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is organize our folder structure. So I'm just gonna go here to my folder for this project, and I already have created this build folder. That is the one I want to use. You can name it or place it anywhere. And inside this build project or folder, I can organize this by characters or by type of prop or later characters, or I mean, it's totally free for you how to organize this and how to structure this. What I like to do normally is do this in three like folders. So we have the first folder that I call asset, and this will contain mainly Maya files, and maybe, well, you can put like OBJs or FBX if you want, but I don't do that. I just use for Maya files. And indeed, this folder ideally should be, I mean, in the future should not be used, because you should like use only data and scripts. That is the next folder. So the next folder, I like to call it data. And I think I talked a little bit about this on the intro video, but basically here is where I store all the serialized data. So for instance, some JSON files or the pickle files. For instance, the pickle files can be the gskin, and the JSON file, it's the gskin pack. So these two words together, and so on. So skin clusters, or later when we use the shapes, we can export here the blend shape setup or rig. That this contains also Maya files, but since it's from the plugin shapes, I like to place it here, and some mail scripts, and these two together is the setup. Can be for facial, can be for corrective lane shapes. And then the latest one that I like to do, it's one called scripts. Scripts. This is a P, and this contains two folders to make clear distinction: the pre and post. So the pre is pre-build, so here in the middle it's the build. Okay, I need a little more coffee before writing correctly. Okay, so the build is in the middle. So basically you do something here, you build your shifter rig with the normal build thing, and then does something after. The good thing about this is that, especially in the post, we have access to all the elements on the build. So we can access these elements, like for instance, attributes or objects, by a dictionary, a big dictionary, so we don't need to rely on namings or things like that. So it has some advantages. It's not like running like a blind scripts one after the other without knowing what is going on. There is a big object here that it has some coherence and it works. We will see how to use this, but yeah, for the moment we're gonna build or prepare these folders, and we need to, of course, set the environment on Maya. So we need to configure the environment, and we will see how to do that in a little. Okay, so first thing, this is my folder, and I can put here the name of the character and the other folders inside, but for this example, I'm just gonna keep simple these things. So this is gonna be called assets. This is gonna be called data. And the last one is scripts. I mean, again, this is something I like to do like that, but you can do whatever you want. And here is a pre, and another one that is the post. So that's it. That is how I organize my thing. And now this path needs to be set on the environment. So in order to do that, I have here my environment thing. I talk about this a little bit on other videos on the channel. I think it's in install and configuration, but here I have prepared something for my Maya. So it's like a .bat style, like command. So here is, I set my Maya module path. In this case, it's the mGear release, where I store my release for the current mGear. This is kind of development style. So normally you should have one for each project. So when you deploy, if you're working in a company or something, you don't want to have the latest release updating every time you do some changes, or if I do some changes that you pull from GitHub. You want to have a stable release, and you want to keep track of the release in a separated folder, so you can configure your environment here. Then I have some my environment variables, mainly these for, I read somewhere that especially disabling this thing, it's loading and closing faster. So, and the last one, it's because I don't have Arnold load, I have Redshift. I don't want the warnings every time I load Maya. And the one I want to use now is the custom steps. That's it's special for mGear. So I'm just gonna uncomment this. And I have set mGear shifter custom step path. This is the one that you should set on your environment. You can do it in several ways. I like to do it this way, but yeah, you can probably check the Maya documentation and see other ways to do it. I'm not gonna go on over that because that's not the purpose of this workshop, but yeah, you can do it. So that's it. So we just said that I want my custom steps here. So the advantage of this is that when we do it like that, we will use a relative paths, and it's easier if you work in a facility where or if you work in a project in different places and so on. So that is more for convenience, but it's not needed. So if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to set this, you will use the full path. So it will be this always, but it's a bit annoying. So it's better to do like that. And of course, I have my Maya here. So just gonna close and restart with a new environment. And that should be it. So now next time I click on my, so I'm just, let me open here the, okay, it's taking a little to load all the plugins, but okay. So here, my character when opens, okay. Oh, really? Ah, okay, here is my, still loading stuff. Okay, so here my guide. When I go to custom steps, now if I create a new one, interesting. I think I configured something wrong. Just a second. It's going to, so if I add, it's trying to go there. Just a second, what I did here? Of course, this is not string. Sorry for that. My bad. It's too early in the morning. I'm just gonna take, while this is loading, a little sip of coffee. And that should be, sorry. Yeah, don't put the, like if it was like string in Python. This is not Python, this is something else. Oh. Okay, sorry. One more time, load my character, wasting some minutes here. And this is a little faster now. Maybe the reason is because I didn't mess with environment. And now if I do add, of course, now it's pointing to the right folder in the right place. So the first thing I want to do is collect all my my skins. So to do that, the first thing is just gonna clean up a little bit my scene here. I have my guide, I have rigging helpers here. You know what, I don't want this for the moment, so but just in case, because I have this body complete like this, I'm just gonna save it. So skin, mGear skinning, sport skinning, and I go to my desktop, and here my build. I'm just gonna create a little shortcut here, data. So I'm just gonna create a folder here that I'm gonna call like body complete geo. Normally when it's a geometry for that is meant to use only for setup or things like that, I put another extension, not geo, but like geo setup or something like that. So this is gonna be body, I'm gonna keep the same name so it's easy to recognize later, complete geo again. So, and I'm just gonna save this like that, so I can recover this anytime I need. And now I'm just gonna go and bind this thing, and export selection again in my build. Let me ASCII just this small, and in asset I'm just gonna call this body geo, and this I'm gonna call it setup. So I know this is my body geo setup, so I can recover this anytime I need, but I don't want to keep track of this anymore. Okay, now the body geometry. So I have these two elements that was from the previous class, and I don't want it. Normally you should have this separated. I'm just cleaning here the stuff so you can see it, but yeah. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is ensure that I don't have more joints that it's needed. So I'm just gonna run here in the skin, edit influence, remove unused influence. It's gonna run over all the parts, and okay, just gonna clean up this, and so you can see here it removed some influence, so this is much more cleaner. So now select all the elements, and I go with skin, export skin pack again, and build data, and I'm gonna create a subfolder called skin, and inside this subfolder I'm gonna call it again skin. So very simple. Just gonna save, and while it's saving I'm just gonna go here and in my data skin, so you can see here exported all the skin geometries. I think it's still working. Now it's finished, and this one that is called skin is the skin pack, that is the JSON file. So we can see here we have all the elements and the full path. That, well, it's not really important. I think I did it when I designed it for some reasons, but really not needed, but it's there. And the other geometry, so we can rebuild part of the skinning, and we don't need to replace over and over all the stored geometry, or even share like skin in between characters, for instance, if it shares same parts, but not all. Okay, so we have this ready. Nice. So next step, I'm just gonna save a version here, so we have this clean before it's unbind this thing. So I'm just gonna unbind, Okay. And I'm just gonna export this also. File, export selection, and we have this body geo. I'm just gonna call this geo. Export selection. Okay, and now for the for this part, we can get rid of this like this. So we have the guides here, and just to be sure, just select all my controls and the guide UI. I'm gonna extract all the controls, so ensure that the latest shape I have for the controls is the one that I am storing. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this. Oh, sorry, just delete this one, I don't need it anymore. Close this thing. And we have the guide. This is the latest thing we have here. So before I export the guide or prepare the guide, I'm just gonna create here the so I don't want to use this import here. I want to use here the this custom step, and I'm gonna create a new one. This is gonna be a very simple one. It's gonna be the first one we do, and I'm just gonna place it here, free, and guess what? It's gonna be called import geo. So we have it here. So you can see here import geo, and we have relative path scripts, pre, and import geo. I don't know how pre custom step. Yeah, it's the right pronunciation. If we edit, the edit works if you have on your machine an editor that it's predetermined to open the Python. So if you have the double click in Python, for instance, run the Python or do nothing, it's asking you how I open the Python, it's not gonna work. You need to pre-configure this. But this is more like Windows configuration or Linux than the real environment here. Sorry. Okay, so we have this name for this custom step, so we can access this custom step by this name. So here we have some doc stream with some snippets. That's nice. So it's step dictionary, name of the custom step, and if we set any variable here, we can access that from here. But we will do it while we're working, so don't worry if something is strange. Yeah, by the way, I didn't say it at the beginning, but you can guess by now that we will start doing some Python stuff here. Very simple. And indeed, it's for the moment, I did prepare a little snippet, so you don't see me copy pasting all the time. I'm sorry, typing. You will see me copy pasting. Yes, exactly. Great. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy paste this part here. Of course, if I up, and here we need import OS for this, and you know what, I like to do it like this. So def import import geometry, for instance, I don't know, and here self and step. We don't need the step dictionary there, but actually for this one, but in some functions we will need it, so I just go and add it there. But yeah, well, indeed you don't need it. I'm just gonna remove it so get less confused. And sorry, here self dot import geometry like this. So basically I put my methods here, and I keep my calls here in the run. So this is mandatory. That's the reason, because it's here on the template. But so later when I'm doing several, I can just comment on comments, different calls on inside the custom steps. So for debugging or other purposes, it's convenient. And normally I try to keep everything in PEP8 style of coding. So have this little line here to tell me that it's too long, and I can do something like that to break the line and keep it a little more compact, and I will try to do it because this is the way that mGear it's now on the code, how its style is. Okay, so that's it for the moment. I'm not gonna import the skinning yet because on the next video we will see how to rebuild our gimmick joints. So for the moment I just wanted to arrive to this point where we have one custom step to import the geometry. We have the environment, and yeah, I think for the moment it's all. I'm just checking here my notes if I forget something, but I think it's all. So I'm just gonna save version here. And well, I guess it's not needed, but this is basically this line here. It's crawling our path, so it's taking the current file, so himself, and checking the directory, and from this directory is going up. So basically it's doing okay, it's build script, this is pre, so I'm here, I'm going one up, I'm going another up, so I'm here, this is the path, then import file, and I'm joining the current path plus this, so it's basically assets geo, so import this file. So that's it, this is what it's doing. If you don't understand this, you probably can type it as you see here on this part, but yeah, you should know a little bit of Python to do this. Okay, so that should be working. Let's try it. Oh, nice. I'm just typing the wrong. Okay, nice. First in the face. Okay, what's going on here? Of course, so I didn't import PyML. No problem. You can see here the error. That's good. It's telling you what is going on. You can see it here, and you can continue. So yes, I don't care, just continue, or stop the build. So stop, I don't know what's going on here, or try again. So try again. Of course, if I do try again, it's gonna fail, same thing, because I didn't change anything. But if I added my custom step, so oops, like this is what happened when you copy paste, but either way. So now I know I fixed that, so I can try again, and it's working. So that's a thing I did, and it's as you can guess, when you make mistakes like I do, it will give you the chance to edit and try it. So the last thing, it didn't build. It says something like you need to select the root or something to build. So the thing is, because I'm importing, I'm losing the root selection. So to do this is something that it's well, it's not the ideal, I have to say, but yeah, you just need to add at the end of all your pre-custom steps to reselect the guide. And the reason is this is kind of workaround for editing the guides before scanning the guides. So because I didn't scan the guide yet, and I'm building from selection, I need to select the guide again to build from the selection. That's the main thing. So now if I do it again, it's gonna import everything and it's gonna build. It's taking a few seconds. But yeah, so we have our rig ready to continue. So it's the skinning is not yet there, but we will see how to rebuild all the gimmicks. So after we rebuild the gimmicks, we can export the skin, because now it's gonna fail because not found the joints that we need. But yeah, that's also just a little recap here. So we have the custom steps. We talk about that on the introduction video, but basically the custom steps is this. It's just creating more little scripts that does a little task before and after the build. And that's it. It's very simple. So you kept this as smaller as you can, so you can have many of them. So it's simple later to reshuffle stuff or just to delete one for the next character of different version of the character, adding a new one. So that's the goal for these custom steps, to keep everything as simple and small parts as possible. So thank you for listening and see you in the next video. Bye bye.